Alright, so a little experiment in camera work here. I'm not quite sure how well this is going to work. We're going to give it a try. My little stick pick gadget that attaches to the end of my trekking pole kind of makes the trekking pole work like a boom. The adjusting nut, I had the thing clipped to a carabiner on my pack, and it worked its way loose and fell off about 60-70 miles ago. So I'm jury rigging it to see if I can get a video before I can get something to fix it. So if this turns out of frame quickly, you'll know it came undone. I decided to give this a shot because I was actually on a little gravel road for the first time in 2 weeks. Mostly this has been really rugged roots and rock trail, and I've needed both trekking poles firmly in both hands to be able to do this without breaking my neck. So I'm going to film for a little while the trail is relatively modest. Just left the gravel road. It is Sunday, July 28th. I'm doing a relatively easy day today on some somewhat more normal trail. About 10 miles is all I'm going to do. Yesterday, whoops, I warned you. Yesterday we did 19 miles, including a really tough climb over Pleasant Pond Mountain with tons of false summits and up and down until you reach the very pinnacle, and then it came straight down. Really hard descent, hard on the knees. So we also crossed the Kennebec River yesterday. I'll post some pictures of that. That's the only river that has a canoe ford run by the Appalachian Trail Council because it's such a dangerous river to try and ford. It's dam fed. People have drowned there in the old days, so now they've got a guy that for 4 hours a day paddles back and forth all day taking northbounders and southbounders across the river. So my new friends Not Yet and Billy, young married couple from the Tacoma, Washington area, really cool people. Billy's a veteran also of the Task Force 160. He's a Black Hawk crew chief who I have great respect for because I met a lot of those when I was in the 101st Airborne. We hiked together the last couple of days. They're southbounders, and we wanted to make that river crossing before the last run at 4 o'clock, so we really had to hustle yesterday, and had hit about 15 miles by the time we made the river crossing a little bit before 4, and then had another 3.7 uphill to get to Pierce Pond, a really cool place. And this morning we had breakfast, huge stack of blueberry apple pancakes at Harrison Camp, a former kind of hunting and fishing camp way out in the middle of nowhere in Maine, run by the current owner, Tim, who's a great guy and a great chef. And the three of us popped in there. We called ahead of time, and we got a 1-bar cell phone signal and said we'll be in the morning. And it was only 3/10 of a mile hike on a little side trail from the lean-to, Pierce Pond lean-to, where a bunch of us stayed last night. About 6 or 7 southbounders all there at that lean-to, which is the most I've seen congregated in any one place of AT thru hikers that are trying to go south. It's a lot of back and forth right now. Northbounders closing in on the last couple of 100 miles, and the southbounders just getting started. So it's a busy trail right now. Shelters are pretty full. So Billy and Not Yet are taking what's called a 0 day today. They're just going to hang out and let their bodies recuperate a little bit. They haven't had one since they started the day after I did. And we'll probably catch up with each other on down the trail. I'm sure we will. I have about 3 more days on this section of trail before I hit Stratton, Maine. One of the reasons I'm going kind of short today and just doing 10 miles is to recuperate from yesterday. But also after that, I've got 2 really hard mountain climbing days in the Bigelow Mountains, which are reputedly by the northbounders some of the most difficult mountains to summit. Very rugged, very rocky. And I've got Little Bigelow tomorrow and Avery Peak the next day. And then Wednesday night I should spend at the Stratton Motel, do laundry, resupply, pack up, and do the next section down to Andover. I'm over halfway done with Maine. I'm at about 162 miles, probably 163 right now. I'll be at camp here soon. And Maine is 281 miles before we hit the New Hampshire border. So it won't be too awfully long before we've achieved Maine. Body's doing good. My legs aren't swelling up like they used to at night. Recovering well. Happy about that. Let me give you a quick look at a very common sight in Maine. We're crossing a bog right now, and hopefully you can see this bog bridge. Trail volunteers are just amazing up here. They cut all these boards on site with hand tools, and they may bring chainsaws back in here, but it's just a tremendous amount of work. And they put these bog bridges basically across these areas to protect these really fragile ecosystems, and they're great for crossing ground quickly. They're really difficult when it's wet and rainy, get really slick. But hats off to the Maine Appalachian Trail Conference volunteers. Just remarkable trail building in the whole state. So I'm gonna end it there, because I'll probably break my neck trying to film and going over this bog bridge. So far things are going good. Still meeting a lot of people and talking about Lyme disease. I'll do a video soon just talking about Lyme specifically, and some of the highlights of the conversations I've been having with people on the trail. People are very interested in it. You know, obviously they're in an environment, not so much in Maine so far, but on the Appalachian Trail where Lyme is a real issue. And as we get further south, down around the Massachusetts line and on into Connecticut and New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, those are real hot zones. We're going to be a lot more vigilant, even though we'll be moving into fall. Fall is still an active time for the adult ticks. And all of these ticks carry pathogens, not just Lyme disease. So more on that soon. But hopefully I'll get my stick pick fixed and be able to do some more action hiking videos. Thanks for tuning in. Unitic out.